As autumn becomes us, we are reminded that change is woven into the very fabric of our existence. As the trees release their leaves, they teach us the beauty of letting go and trusting in the cycles of nature. This time of year is a quiet teacher. It carries a stillness, pause. The cool, crisp air and darker evenings invite us to reflect, signalling for us to also turn inwards. Just as the earth prepares for a season of rest, we too are called to embrace transformation. It is as if earth is guiding us to rest alongside it, knowing what we need and when. It is time to shed what no longer serves us and to make space for renewal. In these moments, we are reminded that change is a natural and inevitable part of our journey. For many, this is the most beautiful season, perhaps intentionally so, as if nature crafted it to inspire and comfort us in times of transition, showing us that change can be beautiful. Just as the earth transforms, so do we, evolving into deeper versions of ourselves with each passing season, moving through cycles of growth, release, and renewal. Every ending carries the seeds of new beginnings, and in the rhythm of seasons, we find our own unfolding. It's been about a month since I posted on YouTube, so thank you for having me back. I got into a bit of a funk when autumn hit. I don't think I was fully prepared or fully ready to let go of summer, but I have been through the stages of denial, acceptance, and now I am embracing autumn a little bit more. So I got myself into a bit of a funk where I'm kind of shut off for a while. I've been really busy and occupied, but just not feeling particularly creative because I was in this little phase, but I'm feeling a lot better now and I am far more willing to embrace all that autumn has to offer, especially while it's so beautiful and orange. I've been doing what I do every year where I kind of stockpile loads of photos and videos and content and ideas to keep me busy over winter, because winter is too cold and muddy to go outside and really do anything. So I tend to stockpile loads of things to keep me busy. I feel like this time of year the earth is trying to encourage us to copy it. So everything has this kind of dying and dead look about it, where it's going inside itself to conserve energy and work on itself, and then come back next year better and stronger and more vibrant and with a new zest of life. And I feel like the surroundings make us do the same by the fact that it gets darker earlier and it's a bit less pleasant outside because everything is starting to look a little bit dead and less inviting. It's almost like Earth is leading by example, where it's just telling us to go inside, take a long nap, conserve energy, work on yourself, be a bit internal for a while, and then come back next year feeling ready to take on the world. whenever I go a long time without filming anything for YouTube, I don't forget how to do it, but I get rusty and don't have the same flow that I normally have. And for me, it's kind of like use it or lose it. If I don't do any like public speaking for a while or editing long videos for a while, I kind of just forget how to and get like really rusty and like not as efficient or smooth, and then it's somewhat less enjoyable as well because I'm not as like quick and good as I used to be. So gonna kind of get back into that space, I think, because I don't like going long periods of time not doing things I enjoy, but I'm out of that funk now. I'm feeling a lot more creative and a lot more enthusiastic about doing things. I made a video sort of similar to this last year where I spoke about not knowing like where I was going and what I was doing with my YouTube and just all my creativity and my career in general. And I feel like I have this same funk every year. I think it's just the shift in seasons. It's like everything is changing, and autumn is very much a transition phase. We're going from like busy, amazing summer heading into quiet, kind of dead, muddy, cold winter, which is very different. And autumn is like this in-between phase where you're saying goodbye to summer and like embracing the winter. And obviously it's a much needed phase, but I feel like every autumn is when I have this little funk where I just question everything I've done and everything I'm doing and where I'm going and what I should be doing. And it's not just in terms of YouTube or anything creative, it's kind of in life in general. I often have this little moment debating what I'm doing with my career and like what I'm doing with where I'm living, what I'm doing with my time, what I'm doing with my life, personal goals, everything. I kind of use this time to like reevaluate and assess everything, which is obviously timed in with the new year, so it's like the perfect time to evaluate everything. But autumn just seems to be the time where I have a bit of a funk. I just have a moment of like, don't know what I'm doing, so I just pause, go offline for a bit, reassess, reevaluate, think about everything, and then I'll just come back with more enthusiasm and desire to create. But that's currently where I'm at. I've actually been really busy during my little funk. I have been busy socializing, going to the gym, had loads of days out, I've done traveling and lots of playing with the kitten. I suppose the natural time for me to have a rest is autumn because I have such busy summers, and I mean that's true for most people, so that when autumn comes around it's almost like Mother Nature's way of just being like, you need to rest, okay, you need to stop, just have a breather and then you can be better next time. And that's how I feel. I'm kind of accepting the rest and the pause, and I'm not beating myself up for being inactive for so long or for like not creating anything or not like perfecting my craft. I had my pause and I've come back when I'm ready to come back. Every now and then a little break is needed, and this time of year is obviously just when nature rests and it like forces you to rest with it, because the days are shorter, it gets darker earlier, it's colder, there's like everything's just dead around you or dying, and it's just muddy and cold. It's like Earth is just saying you need to stop because you can't be as strong consistently if you don't rest. And this is what I mentioned in my last video, like last year, that I made about resting and then coming back next year. So this is usually the time when I do like a lot of paperwork for things to prepare myself for next year. And so if you work a normal job and you just work like all year round, 5 days a week, you don't get that rest. So you don't see yourself dimming as the years go on, which can sound a little harsh. I don't mean that in a harsh way. I just mean if you're working consistently without the natural break every year, then you're less strong. You know, you don't come back each year stronger because you've rested. Usually you'll just work and then burn out and be forced to rest when your body starts telling you that you need to rest. But if you rest every year naturally when Earth is trying to rest, then you'll keep up the momentum and the strength consistently. It's like we should all be resting. You know, we should all just be having one long winter vacation where we just sit around fires, drink lots of tea, have good food, good conversation, and early nights. Kitten in a box. Autumn also brings along with it the closing of my plant business for the rest of the year up until spring. It's a nice rest to have one of my businesses just go on pause for a while. My summers are usually very busy and hectic, so I look forward to autumn when things die down and I have a lot less work to do. Autumn actually brings with it a lot more creativity for me because I don't have to focus on plants anymore for the rest of the year. Sun's out. It's starting to get a lot colder. You can feel it in the air, especially in the evenings and the mornings. There's been this like fog mist thing happening every morning and the sunshine is just not there anymore. It's definitely starting to get colder. I filmed this over the course of about a month. I started in the beginning of October and it's now about a week into November. And the change already, there's this tree outside my window that I've been watching every day, all the leaves falling off, and they were so orange and bright, and now the tree is nearly completely bare. It's definitely shifting. I feel like it's so noticeable. Spring and autumn are just so noticeable. When you really start watching things and looking into it, you can really see the changes. It's kind of like magical in a way to just see nature just doing its thing and just seeing the aging process happen in trees and plants and just in the air. Like, it's amazing that we can see that. I feel like the older I get, I develop more of an appreciation to the seasons. When I was younger, I just liked summer and really didn't care for the cold, really didn't care for the mud or the darker days. Summer was definitely more my thing, but the older I get, the more I can appreciate how needed it is and how each season has its own aspects of beauty. And it's kind of like a bit of a balancing act, because winter is pretty when it snows, but it's cold, so there's always a trade-off, you know. And autumn is pretty when it looks all orange and it's got this nice golden glow going on, but it is cold. And then even summer and spring, they all have their trade-offs. You know, summer can be boiling hot and really nice and the days are long, but it can also be really busy and also just really too hot. Everything has its trade-off, and I feel like I just appreciate the seasons a lot more. The UK is kind of bad for seasons because our snow is pretty crap and short-lived, and there's not much snow. And when it gets cold, it doesn't really get that cold compared to some places. And when it gets hot, it doesn't really get that hot compared to some places. The UK is pretty linear, I think. I'm just enjoying being inside in the warmth and looking outside at this like gloomy, sunless phase that it's currently in. It's nice to look at when you're indoors. I'm going back to Wales and I'm leaving tonight, hopefully, if all goes to plan. I've still got loads of things to do and I've still got to pack, so I may end up leaving tomorrow morning, but hopefully I can get everything done tonight. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you for watching. I hope you are embracing autumn and preparing for winter and accepting that this time of year is a little bit more chill and a little less go and a little less outside and often a little less sociable, but it's kind of needed. It's kind of a rest that you should be embracing and acknowledging that you need. And go easy on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you do a little less, don't be too annoyed if you're not creating loads or working loads or being really sociable. Or just accept that this time of year is different to other times of year. And I hope you all have a lovely autumn. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.